Georgetown School Committee meeting of Thursday, May 12th, 2016. Is there a flag in here? Are we gonna, no?
We can still say the pledge.
Yeah,
You want to say the pledge anyway?
Yeah, we'll all stand please for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, tonight's meeting is all about reorganization of the school committee for the upcoming school year. So to start that off, we can take nominations. We'll start off with the chair.
I would like to make a nomination to nominate you, Barbie, to fill the chair position for another year, as I've been very impressed with the way you've carried out everything so far this year and the entire time you've ever served. You know, you've really done a lot of very important work for the students and the children of this district, and also, you know, keeping the school committee working so well together and moving forward, and you know, just the manner you conduct meetings, you're very welcoming and you highlight all the important points, and I think you do an awesome job in the year to come.
Thanks. So. Thank you.
So we second that?
Yes.
Second.
Any questions? Comments? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Pam.
Sure. Thank you.
For vice chair, I would like to make a motion to appoint Pam Lundquist as the vice chair again.
Great.
And I appreciate all the help that you give me. You've been great. Can bounce things off you. So I look forward to another year of that.
Wonderful. I will accept the nomination.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Thank you. Great. For the clerk position, I will make a motion for Michael Hinchcliffe to be the clerk. Would you like that?
Sure.
Okay, great.
Second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. For the school district, the attorney for the Georgetown School Committee, I would like to make a motion to appoint Attorney Naomi Stoneberg as the Georgetown School Committee's legal counsel for the 2016-2017 school year.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to appoint the law firm of Sullivan, Nuttall, and McAvoy as the Georgetown School Committee's special education legal counsel for the 2016-2017 school year.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Okay, now moving on to the subcommittees. Okay, for budget and finance, we will make a motion to appoint Michael Hinchcliffe and Pam Lundquist with myself as the alternate for the 2016-2017 school year.
So.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. For the governance subcommittee, I'll make a motion to appoint Cheryl Lashendro and Michael Hinchcliffe with alternate of Suzanne McDonald for the 2016-2017 school year.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. For the negotiation subcommittee, I'll make a motion to appoint Cheryl Lashendro and myself with an alternate of Suzanne McDonald for the 2016-2017 school year.
So moved. Second.
All in, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. For the public relations subcommittee, make a motion to appoint Suzanne McDonald, Pam Lundquist, Cheryl Lashendro as the alternate for the 2016-2017 school year.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and for the safety committee, I'll make a motion to appoint Barbie, myself, with Michael as an alternate. Are we having 2 alternates on that?
Which one are you talking about?
Safety?
Well,
Michael
usually
and
you only have one, because you usually have one member who comes, not 2.
Right,
I
okay,
think you only need one, but
okay. So I will be the primary committee member with Michael as the alternate for the 2016-2017 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that?
I love going to those meetings, but I think it's something that it would benefit every member of the school committee to
Mhm.
spend some time there and take it
I'll
all in and
utilize
see how the
Michael
town
a lot.
departments work together. So I think it would be great for Michael.
Great. Okay, thank you. So all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The technology committee. Do I have anybody?
Well, I have been on the committee, but we hasn't
we
really.
don't really
Yeah,
have
one.
have
So
one.
are we going to
Oh.
maintain that, or is it considered a defunct committee?
Well, I think if we need somebody to meet with us, then I'd say we need to know who that is, but we
Right.
haven't had a,
Functioning
Formal
like a formal
committee.
committee.
we probably need to, at least to meet, once or twice a year. But we haven't been meeting, because we've had this one-to-one has been sort of our little quasi tech initiative.
So, would someone like to be on the technology committee? And again, like the superintendent said, it could be 1 to 2 times.
Sure.
Okay,
go ahead.
Suzanne. Actually, I noticed that Suzanne is really only on one committee.
If
She's on-
Suzanne
she's an
would like to,
alternative,
yeah.
so,
I know, I was hoping I
I
could
was
stay in
thinking-
governance because it was my
Yeah.
first year and
yeah.
I'd really just gotten into it and
Do you want to kick me out?
So you might want to
Yes.
negotiate with
We
Michael.
can- we can-
Didn't we already approve that?
We
I didn't
did.
just say anything.
We
about
can
it.
revisit it.
was, but I was being polite.
We don't need politeness. So governance, so it's Cheryl and Michael. And you two were on it last year, Suzanne and
So
Cheryl.
you just want to mix up, is that?
No, it's
Why don't we leave that, and I can, since I'm good. Sort of.
I can also step out and do something else too. It's,
It's fine, I'll stay with public relations, I'm good, we're good. Let's continue.
No, we didn't.
But you won't have more than one, though. You'll be an alternate on a couple committees. But do you want to
Oh.
have, so I think everybody's trying to be on 2.
2 committees. So I'll do technology.
You want to do technology?
when does technology typically meet?
We haven't been meeting, so.
I'll be technology.
Yeah, so once,
You know what, I mean,
If
then,
Suzanne, I would think that probably in the evening, because Suzanne's schedule won't
Yeah.
allow her to, which is fine, because if we have people other than, like if we have parents or anything like that, we would probably want to have them in the evening anyway.
so you'll remain the alternate for governance,
Sure.
and
I'm
then,
sick a lot.
well, you can attend the meetings, you just really can't have any input. I mean, you could attend them. Are you guys good with that? You good with that?
So Michael, let's just review that for 1 minute.
So leaving me as
So,
governance.
so you're on budget and finance,
Do you want to do
governance.
public relations?
Yeah, you guys just negotiate, just try to make it a little bit equal.
Hmm? I know.
can I just throw
Yeah,
something
go
else in
ahead.
there? That Cheryl and I have been on the school committee welcoming packet committee.
Oh, like
Like
new,
new members.
for a new member?
New members.
Yeah,
we never
we,
met.
we never met, we didn't really get started with it, and then I think it dropped in priority because it was looking like there would be nobody new on the
That's
committee
right.
this year. But that may not be the case next year, I don't know. I think we had agreed at this committee to establish that
Right.
committee because, we thought that we maybe could come up with a welcome package, an informative package that would
So
help
you'd like
new
to, both
members.
of you would like
So
to
you're
be
still
on it?
on here, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, so I was hoping to establish that as a as a subcommittee.
That was,
Which
it's,
was-
yeah, it's listed here.
Okay,
It's
so,
down here.
Where is it?
Right
Oops, no, sorry.
No, it's-
on that
Yeah, new
page.
member orientation
Oh, there
subcommittee.
it is.
There she-
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's some,
I'm
they're more
sorry, I
ad
didn't
hoc
see that.
because they're not like the formal.
Okay, I didn't see that. Okay.
Right. Okay, so we'll get to that. But let's get back to governance. Do you wanna swap with Suzanne and do PR?
Bless you.
Bless you.
What do you want to do?
I was very
You're
easy.
being polite too.
But I said, even to Laura, and she made me pick, I'm like, I'll fit him in. So, she made me pick.
So if you have something you really want to do, then you should say it. Okay?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Do you really want to
You
do
really wanna do
governance,
governance?
Suzanne?
Yeah, I
Okay.
do.
Well,
I
then
like
let's-
governance.
Okay.
All right. So let's
Yeah,
Suzanne.
absolutely. So I'm taking Cheryl off. Cheryl?
Right.
Okay, are you gonna do PR?
Sure.
Okay, so I will make a motion to change the governance subcommittee members to Suzanne McDonald with Michael Hinchliffe, and then alternate of Cheryl?
Sure.
Okay, I need a,
And I'll alternate
So moved.
public relations.
okay, so who's gonna second?
Second, or so moved, or I'm not sure which one.
Okay, so moved.
So moved.
Anybody? Second.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And then we will make a motion to change the Public Relations Subcommittee to Cheryl Ashendro, Pam Lundquist, with an alternate. No, Cheryl, Pam, with an alternate of Suzanne.
So moved.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. Okay, so technology, so that's where we stopped. So who wants to do technology, and again, it's 1 to 2 times a year.
I wrote Suzanne on my papers.
I did too.
I did
So,
too.
so moved.
This is Susan.
Okay, so I'll make a motion
Is that what they do, a write-in ballot?
to appoint to the
Surprise.
technology subcommittee Suzanne McDonald for the 2016-2017 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And,
Thank you. The school building committee, how long is that gonna be going on?
I think
Until-
I think this is probably the last year, but the projects aren't closed out yet, so it's probably
Okay.
still going for much of this year.
So do we have no one that's interested in that one?
Well, I think Pam's name is next to it.
I'd be happy to continue with it, but on the
Yeah.
other hand, if somebody else would like to take
Yeah,
over,
Probably
that's.
should let Pam finish it.
Yeah,
because
you
it's
do,
gonna be a
exactly, you
short
do a
term.
great
makes
job
sense.
with all the updates, and I feel like I'm there.
So
So I
too
would-
much detail.
No, it's great.
Okay.
Then, so I'll make a motion to appoint Pam Lundquist to the school building committee for the 2016-2017 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you. We have to do the latest school start time again? Is that what we do with the,
No,
do you have to?
I don't-
I thought that
That's an ad
stays,
hoc,
because
so
with
I
the
think-
turf field, we didn't
Stayed
have to,
together
it
for a
stays
few
together
years, yeah.
until,
Yeah.
okay, so we won't have to do that. The Whittier, we had that, remember Pam?
That was just a,
was just like a
just
one-off.
over that one issue.
That was when that issue,
Yes.
yeah, so we
that's
don't
not-
need that. Superintendent's goals subcommittee. Do we have, anyone that's interested in that?
I'll continue.
Continue? Okay, Cheryl, Pam, do you wanna continue with that?
I can too. Is it necessary though?
Yeah, I think every year you wanna have that process. be-
Okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very simple because these are basically 2-year goals.
Yeah, but it
so-
can also be, just ongoing discussion about like evidence and that kind of stuff. I think
Okay.
it's okay.
Suzanne, do you wanna continue being the alternate?
And Suzanne's the alternate.
I'll make a motion to appoint Cheryl Lashendro, Pam Lundquist with an alternate of Suzanne McDonald for the superintendent's goals subcommittee for 2016-2017.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And then the new member orientation subcommittee. I'll make a motion to appoint Pam Lundquist and Cheryl Lashendro for the 2016-2017 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, I didn't see that before.
Oh, that's
why I
okay.
did, So,
That's all right.
I do.
Okay, legislative liaison.
So I've done that in the past because there hasn't been really a committee member who's been interested, but I know, like Michael, you went to a couple of the sessions. You know, I mean, I think probably it should be a school committee member. I don't care which one, but I do think it probably should be.
So tell me what that entails.
It's just really keeping on top of the things that are going on, you know, in the legislative
So
world.
is it monthly, is it?
You know, it depends. Like
Quarterly.
MASC puts out quite a bit of stuff, so it's a question of, you know, going to different things. If there's something hot, you know, coming up, I would help you with that because there's things that I get through the Superintendent's Association that would, maybe the committee would be interested in. But I don't think it's heavy lifting. It's just, you know, if there's something you think, like Pam brought the Suburban Coalition, you know, charter schools. I mean, there's the things that are sort of the big ticket items. Yeah.
It's just keeping an eye
It's just
on
keeping an eye
all
on it.
the
Something
important
you're interested in.
legislative
Yeah.
items that are going through the.
So you want to do that, Mike?
Okay.
That would affect us.
And that's
I
what
will
makes
make
it
a motion
So he
to
doesn't get to say no.
appoint Michael Hinchliffe as the legislative liaison for the 2016-2017 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the CREST representative, are you interested in maintaining that?
Yes, I'd be
relationship
very
with
happy
them?
to do that.
Okay, I'd be very happy.
Unless
to
you
do that.
are
The school
wanting to
committee's
go.
Pam's.
I feel like it's a very.
Who needs 5
It
minutes?
is.
You've got to say now.
And you enjoy going, so
Yeah.
I think it makes sense for you.
Unless you would like to go, if you ever like to go in my
Well, we can
stead.
talk about that, but I think if you've been on it and going on a regular basis, you know, and I help out if they need help, like some of their little subcommittees, but that's enough for me, I'm happy
Okay.
to have you.
All right.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to appoint Pam Lundquist to the 2016-2017 CREST. She'll be the representative for CREST for the 2016-2017 school year.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Pam, the CPAC liaison.
Well, I would really like to continue.
Good answer.
I mean, good answer.
You want me to be the alternate?
Sure, that would be, that would be fine.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to appoint Pam Lundquist as the CPAC liaison with Cheryl Crescendo as the alternate for the 2016-2017 school year.
Just don't get sick or something, Dan.
So moved.
You're busy with all
I'm
this.
very healthy. It's
Second.
Glad to hear that.
literally up there on deck.
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye. You're blessed.
Okay, so those are all the subcommittees. School facilities subcommittee?
That's school building.
That's,
right?
I think that's school business.
Yeah, you just need, okay, school facilities subcommittee.
Yeah, that, I'm sure that's.
1 or 2 members of the school committee are appointed.
But you already did.
All right, this, yeah. I actually like it better as school facilities subcommittee than school building, but. So now we have to have the appointments for district officers. I will make a motion to appoint Donna Straight as the Title II Compliance Coordinator for the 2016-2017 school year.
So moved.
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I'll make a motion to appoint Joan Laporto as the Title VI Compliance Officer for the 2016-2017 school year.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Again, I'll make a motion to appoint Joan Laporto as the Title IX Officer for the 2016-2017 school year.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
That's what happens when you do a good job. You never get
That's
rid of the
right.
job.
Okay, I'm
Make a motion.
There's a learning curve too.
So I'll make a motion to appoint Principal Peter Lucia and Joan Laporto as the Sexual Harassment Hearing Officers for the 2016-2017 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, make a motion to appoint the Director of Guidance, Julia Robinson, as the 504 Coordinator for the 2016-2017 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Is she currently?
She is, but
Okay.
it was Steve Umbro.
Right,
before,
yeah.
and
Right,
she took
okay.
over for Steve.
Okay. I'll make a motion to appoint Dr. Donna Straight as the Homeless Student Liaison for the 2016-2017 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Make a motion to appoint Dr. William Medwood as the school physician for the 2016-2017 school year.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And I'll make a motion to appoint Laura Markarian as the school committee secretary for the 2016-2017 school year.
So,
So moved.
Second.
so moved.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, then we also have to have a designee for the payroll warrant signature. So who would like to do that? Suzanne, was that you were? I know I did it last year.
No,
You
I
were?
did this year.
Okay.
I would happily pass that along
Okay.
if someone else is available.
Okay,
Works for that?
great.
So moved.
Especially since you're coming to the school.
Oh, wait, she hasn't even made a
Oh,
motion.
sorry.
So I'll make a motion to
Even I know that.
I'm eager.
designate Cheryl LaShendra as the payroll warrant signature designee for the 2016-2017 school year.
Now.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Okay, that was easy, I guess.
You want to
Yes, because
change
it was
one
all
of your-
negotiated beforehand, so it was easy.
I know.
Nobody jumped up and said, "What? Not me."
Yeah, I know. Okay, so, moving along, I'd love to hear from Maggie as to how things are going at the middle high school with things.
Last night they had the chorus concert.
Oh.
The mom's last concert every night. And then they had the song that was made for her. It was
That was wonderful.
It was
Yeah, it
an
was
amazing
so
tribute
good.
to her.
Yeah,
really
everybody.
past students and everything.
I know, that was really nice.
That was such a great surprise.
And she
And
was
it was
so
a
nice.
testament to her that, they came back.
And they kept it
Yeah.
a secret.
That's a big deal. She was so shocked when all of a sudden, she was like looking and yeah, it was so neat. She's great. She really is. She's gonna be so
Surely
good.
missed.
Yes.
I mean, just.
Oh, she will. But that concert was phenomenal. The kids sounded so good, and then for the kids that got up and did the solos,
Yes.
like that to me is just for them to get up and do that. But they sang so well, and they just did it with ease, and so yeah, everything was great. And I love the flowers that all the seniors wore.
35 seniors.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
In the chorus.
But that shows, that's to her.
That's
Yeah.
right.
She's had that many, students in the course.
Yeah, it was
really enjoyed
It
it.
was great. It was a long night. It was really fun.
And then on Monday we have the band, middle school and high school band concert combined.
Mhm.
So it's gonna be a good time.
So the middle high schools combined,
Yeah. So it goes jazz band and then the middle school concert band and the high
and
school.
then the high school. Okay, so that'll be a fun night too.
Yeah.
This is a great time of year. There's always
It's
good
busy.
stuff going
It's a
on.
busy time.
Busy, that's all good stuff.
And then on Wednesday we have the senior showcase.
Yeah.
with-
Are you participating?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Wednesday,
A
senior
bunch of my
showcase.
friends and I are doing dancing to a song.
That's nice.
Is
That's
that
fun.
during school or is
No,
that
it's at
afterwards at 7? That
It's
should be
$3
fun.
to get in.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
always fun.
that's fun in the year.
And your last day of school is June 1st?
Yeah.
Did you start the countdown on your phone?
We put it on
Is
the
there an
walls
app?
in the hall
It's on-
actually.
You did?
I think there's 12. I don't know, 12 or
That's
13.
And then, so your last day is the 1st, and then the 2nd is the senior breakfast, right?
Yeah.
And then the 3rd is the trip?
Yes.
No, it's the second. to the
Second to
third.
the third.
Oh, the 2nd to the 3rd, so after the senior breakfast?
Yeah.
Really? Is that what it is? Because
The
the
senior
last.
breakfast is on the second, right?
Yeah.
So then after that, they go.
Probably that
Oh,
evening.
Yeah, yeah, it's the
Yeah.
second to the third.
Okay, and you're excited for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going
Whitewater Rafting,
Yeah.
which will be fun.
Everybody
And I hope the
enjoys that,
weather's good for you.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, I hope the weather's good.
Stating
And
the
then
obvious.
graduation on the 4th,
Yeah.
which we're hoping for a nice, beautiful day.
Maggie, when's
That'd
the
be great.
senior dinner?
Oh.
Yeah, I think I have it on my calendar. I think they told me it was going to be at Salvador.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh.
that's the seniors get
Yeah,
their
but Lauren's
yearbook,
one of
their
those ones.
it's great. They open their
Nice to
time
have.
capsules
Yeah.
and they get their. It's a
Oh.
really neat tradition. I've never seen it anywhere else. They open their time capsules and they
Oh, that's nice.
and they do their yearbooks, obviously, and then they usually have a slideshow. So it's really neat.
And it's just the
It's
kids.
just the kids,
Just the kids and the
then
administrators.
chaperones. They always I always go.
Teachers.
Teachers.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's nice. It's an exciting time of year.
And how about the prom?
Yeah, that's coming up.
Next Friday.
So I understand the Grand March is going to be at the country club instead of at the school.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I think that's
the
a great
kids
idea.
asked. The kids asked
Oh,
to
that's
try that.
great.
It's awkward.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's going to be great.
That'll be like for your background.
And more parking for people.
Oh, right in front of that
Oh,
fountain.
Yeah.
It'll be beautiful.
It'll be really nice.
That's nice. And then you just go right in.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
Right.
That's perfect. It's a great idea.
Yeah, it's good. It'll wish you a lot of fun. So this will you be coming to the next meeting? The next meeting's the 23rd.
Most likely. Probably.
Okay. Well, we didn't want to say the 26th, sorry. We
26th.
didn't want to say our farewell yet, but if we have
Most
to.
likely, yeah.
Okay, most likely we'll be. Good. Great. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's a busy time for you. Okay, busy time for your mom. That's the thing. All these parents, it's very busy for them. Okay. I didn't even do the consent agenda, so I will do that now. I'll make a motion to approve regular session minutes of April 28th, 2016, and acceptance of warrants 44P16, 45V16, and 47V16.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And is there anyone here from the public that would want to talk about anything on the agenda this evening? No, thank you. Okay, middle school technology initiative.
Right, so I wanted to give
Excited
you-
about this.
Yeah, so I wanted to give you an update. And Wes is here, and Julie's been involved, and Michael's been involved as well. So, as you know, we've been talking now for a couple of years on wanting to do a one-to-one, especially now that we have the great technology we have at the Pembroke. We thought it would be perfect, and our goal was to try to get it in place for this year, for next year. But we met several times. As you know, we went to New York. We met with the Apple folks. And then as we continued to meet, we realized that there's some infrastructure things that we're just not absolutely 100% sure that we have ironed out enough to have gone out this spring and really sold it to the public. And without worrying that next year we'd have all these devices and have full expectations that we were going to be using it and integrating it into the classroom classroom environment, and then lo and behold, the configuration isn't quite what we need, and we didn't think that was something that we could have. Plus, of course, as you know, the timing was tricky with the budget, and especially the budget reductions. There is going to be some outlay of money for us. We're still trying to figure out exactly what that is, primarily for the students whose parents choose not to purchase or lease, as there'll be a lease or purchase option. We are fortunate that there are a couple of places in the area that have done this recently within the last several years. And so we've been able to get information from those districts as to the ways things worked really well for them, things that maybe they would have done differently, and our goal would be to do them differently so that we can be assured that it's got the greatest opportunity for success. So what's in place now is, as you know, the teachers have their MacBook. They also have an iPad. We're working on acquiring TVs. In fact, we have a meeting coming up with the PTA and the GEF reps because they're thinking they might be able to help us gain some additional TVs for the school. So we know we want to do that. And then we have, I believe, purchased all of the Apple TVs. But that's one of the things we're finding is it's been difficult to configure them and have them be working and operating just like we need them. And it's not necessarily all our fault in the district. Apple TVs sometimes do have trouble sort of connecting, so we're trying to work with a company to try to figure out what's the best way, whether we have to, what do you call it, hardwire them versus not necessarily rely on the wireless. We've also gained additional access points through the project in terms of the Arrowhives and Xeruses. So when we launch this initiative, we would hope to have wireless access throughout the school and in every classroom. So again, that's central to our success, is that it's accessible to students when they need it. So we've done all of those things, but right now we are getting some quotes to try to get a couple of vendors that will come in and really looking at our network and say, how would you reconfigure this network to do what we need it to do? So that's a bit of a goal for starting this summer and then into next year. So next year is infrastructure year, where we wanted to have it, exactly where we wanted to have it. We're also going to do some additional training for the teachers next year, so that will give them, even more readiness when we launch the following year. We also also in our plan was to start educating the public in the fall, beginning winter, because we would want to have people know what the options are, how we're going to, if they be leasing or purchasing from us. We would be working with Apple to be the point people on that.
And does Apple, so if Apple is the point person, then do they have the technical support? So does that come with purchasing?
So that's one of the things we would need to talk about, is that there's an Apple Care process that would come with, so we're trying to figure out what the plan's going to look like. So it would consider the case, it would be the device, it would be the Apple Care, which is a kind of like you're talking about, kind of technical support.
But it's just, it's technical support for the physical device, not for the network, not for, I'm in the classroom and it doesn't work.
Right.
It's on an insurance policy, so if something gets damaged, they can get replaced. It's a replacement. Apple Care Plus for Education allows for 2 broken machines per unit over the course of the 3-year period.
So then there will not be an Apple technical support. That's what Wes will be.
Well, we'll have to help people as much as we can internally. We're also going to take advantage that year of having Sandra Sowerskopf, who's one of our teachers that's on our little team, to be like a lab experience. That's what Hamilton Wenham did. They started out on a smaller scale when they first did it. I think they did just with the 9th grade or something. And then as they worked out the bugs, then they expanded to include the other grades. So our plan would be to just use her as a model. So students would have devices. She would be literally a lab classroom. And then she would also have the opportunity to work with teachers who are interested. She can help consult with teachers who are interested in, expanding the use in their classroom. So
And what is
she teaches history. Social studies.
And then
she's
some
wonderful.
electives? She has some electives?
I think she's primarily history.
But yeah, she's
And I think that what's going to happen is one of her classes will be this. It'll be a history class taught with this pilot.
So just one class out of the whole school.
That's right.
It's not a grade.
It's not a grade. It's not a grade. We didn't feel like we had the capacity to do that. We would
It's
have had
always
divided.
possible.
We'd have to get the devices in the hands of.
We couldn't do just, one subject, one grade.
Again, we'd have to really make sure that we have the capacity to do that. We want it to work, right? So we have an interested teacher who feels ready to do it. If we have other teachers along the way, then we would certainly take a look at that, but it does have to do with getting the devices in the hands of the students.
So then these students that are in her class, how will they get the device?
Well, I
what are you
think
gonna
that.
We have 30 units.
I was
set.
gonna say, we already
so
have
they're just
some.
gonna, okay.
So you're going to take one of the labs and turn that into a one-to-one for that
Portable.
particular class, and
Okay.
they'll actually have them to take with them and go from class to class with, and all
So
the rest of that. So.
There's going to be an opportunity for when those students, are in a different classroom, and when they're in English class, there are going to be 1 or 2 or 3 devices in the room to sort of be able to use it. Obviously, not everyone's going to have one, but sort of so that everyone can get a taste of what it could look like.
And this will be a year rollout.
Yeah, so that's why we're gonna
Look
have
at
to,
the bugs.
we're gonna have to continue to meet and really lay out like really firm timelines. But that's the general timeline, is that we would plan to, you know, start getting all of our ducks in a row, work on our infrastructure, get the information out to people starting in the late fall, early winter, you know, hold, you know, information sessions, because we have to work with Apple also, you know, throughout the summer and into the fall to make sure that we're understanding exactly what our commitment is. Plus, we're gonna have to look at what our financial commitment might be if we have to,
Right, if
absorb
people
some of
opt
the
out.
cost of opting out. Right now, the ones that are the ones that we own, we have about 60 in the school. We would have the ability to loan a device to a student, like let's say the teacher was gonna work on a project in class and not everybody had access, we'd be able to loan one to the student.
For the project
For the
duration,
project,
but
yeah.
not like
Not-
a daily.
Well, again, we'd have to see how many we have and what that need is. I don't know how many people would opt out. You know, we have been looking at what some other districts, Paul Schwam actually did a paper, we had one of his courses on this, I think in Beverly, and what percentage of the people in year one, you know,
Yeah.
did it, and then, you know, so I think initially it was like between 70 and 75% in year one. And then, you know, but
By
now.
year
They're gradual,
Yeah.
by year three, it's
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, so again, you know, I think it's how we explain it. My sense from talking to people is that they see the value of it, especially if their children are having access to it at the elementary school. The other thing, the timing of this, because we were a little nervous about delaying it a year, but the more we talked about it, we said, you know, we have to do this right. There just isn't sufficient time. We also talked about rolling it out in the second semester. So, you know, starting to talk to people this spring, and then in the fall, kind of pumping it up and getting a commitment from people. But Wes and others made a good point that it takes time to get all the devices, configure all of them, and then, you know, get them out appropriately to people. So it didn't seem to make sense. We said, you know what, we're gonna do this right. And it will work out for us in terms of us having availability of devices when we have to take the online assessments.
That's what I was thinking.
Because that's coming
Sure
in
you
17,
considered
18.
that.
So we did consider that. Because that was initially why we were like, should we continue and really just try to get this as best we can?
Because
And
it's
we
gonna
just-
be spring 2018, we're gonna have to have enough devices, is that
Mhm.
correct?
2018, that's right, spring 2018.
And so that's like not
That's
the
right.
next spring, but the spring after.
That's right.
So that's coming right up.
That's why the timing needs to work.
So-
But I think it gives us time to build more support for it, and again, try to come up with the alternatives, because some people will prefer to just buy it
On their
on
own.
their own. We did talk, we do have a plan to launch, to start, we were gonna just start with the 9th grade, the 7th and 9th grade, right? Because so we've got this little grid that I'll show you as to what happens, you know, 5 years out, like who ends up having it. So it takes a couple of years, I think it took 2 or 3 years for everybody to have it. But, you know, it's better to do it the right way. And so,
7, 9, 10?
I think it was
Was that-
7, 9, and 10. And then 11 and 12, you know, because if it's a lease, it's a 3-year lease, right? So you get it as a junior, there isn't 3 years. But we still would allow people to bring in their device, their own device. And, you know, kids are gonna go to college, so sometimes parents will be thinking about that, you know,
Yeah,
when
purchase.
things come. But we'll come to you with I just wanted to, I thought maybe you'd be wondering, like, why we hadn't talked about it. And it was on our original school committee topics list that we were gonna make a recommendation earlier than this. And as I said, I think the more we talked about it, the more, you know, we try to come up with all kinds of creative solutions. We said, you know what, it sounds like we're forcing this, and we want it to be successful. We want to do the adequate public relations on it, information sessions for parents.
We also have a lot of work to do on the policy side.
Policy, yep.
We do, but
that's
we
right.
also,
also,
you
you
know,
know,
the devices itself and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But backing it
Which
up
they're
against
more
that
for.
spring 2018 is critical and crucial too.
Right.
That's right, but I don't think we're worried about that, is
Okay.
what we're saying to you, that
All right.
we feel like that we can hit that timeline. Students, you know, students know how to, at that age, students know how to use computers. you worry more about the computer tests for kids in 3rd and 4th grade where they're learning to drag and drop and they're having all these expectations on it. Most of the time, kids in high school will be able to do anything on a computer. They use their phones as handheld computers for the most part, and they're doing work on the computers now anyway. So we don't think that's going to be a tough sell, especially since we're talking about buying keyboards as well. You know, because sometimes with iPads, although people are telling us that, but the kids don't care about the keyboards because they don't care about the keyboards. But we're still thinking that if students are going to be writing like a composition or writing a paper, it's easier to do it if you have the keyboard. So that'll be part of the package, is the option for keyboard.
Can I just ask Maggie, like now, currently in your classes, do teachers kind of informally integrate, bring your own device into, or?
No, not really. Usually they let us go to the library, use the computers, or they like get the iPads for us to use.
You use your phone?
In some classes. You can.
Would they give you resources or homework for you to use? You do. There's courses, internet research, and they'll. Okay.
But they're assuming you have access to your.
Schoology is used quite, so I think it's almost like a given that everyone's going to be utilizing a computer.
Yeah.
Right. So would the expectation be that families would either purchase or lease, not bring their own? Because I know.
I'm sorry, Cheryl, you mean something other than an iPad?
Right.
Is that what you're talking about?
Right.
Yeah. Well, again, we had that discussion too, because one of the things we could have done is just said, bring your own, whatever device you want. But
that
one
would
of
be
the
so hard, like some kids on Apple.
But you can bring your own
iPad. District, it's working.
Yes, you can.
Is that what you have?
As long
in
as
your
it's an
own
iPad that's
you can
current
bring,
enough.
Right, you can bring your own iPad, that's right. So we would give you some specs, which wouldn't be the most current, but it would be, within a window. And then what would happen is, because we want to utilize the apps, that's why we didn't go with a Chromebook or we didn't go with a MacBook Air, right? Because we did have that discussion too, like maybe we'll just go with a laptop. But the accessibility to the apps is really what people are most interested in. And there are a lot of great apps out there. Right. So that's why we were recommending and we did look at what other schools are using, and
most of them are the iPads.
Most are the iPads.
So if a student has one at home, they can use that.
That's right.
If they don't, they have to choose to lease or purchase.
That's correct.
So just as long as the specs are on.
Exactly. And so we just want to make sure we give people the opportunity, we talk, so whether it's a lease to buy, to basically after you get to buy for $1 or whatever the fair market value, which is pretty low cost.
But what would the lease be in comparison to us going out and buying it?
It's not that different.
Oh, all right. Well, that's good because usually it's, because you're paying it in installments, whatever. It's quite a difference.
On the technology side, a lease is really just like a 3-year financing.
Right.
The use of the word lease is kind of a misnomer. You're really just financing it over
There's no
3 years or 4 years.
And then you buy it.
Yeah, and then you most times you buy for $1. So.
Because you spread it out.
And if you get it in the
Exactly.
7th grade, you can keep it your whole time, or you can opt to trade it in
And
Get it
upgrade.
and upgrade.
All right. So in the fall, you're going to really start
Yeah,
to
we'll come to
get
you
the
in the
discussion
fall
going.
when we have the firm proposal, and then, you can take a look at it, you can approve it, and then we can start getting that information out to people. But I just didn't want the year to end before we had a little closure on so you knew exactly what we were.
So everyone on the committee, you being one of them, and Wes and Sandra's on it too, everybody thought that was the best way to go, just because
People were nervous, and then that's when I said, you know what, I think we should what if we do this? And everyone went, oh, yes, right? People were very nervous about
because you
it.
don't want to roll it out and then have some kid be like,
Well, we
I
just
can't
wanted
get
to-
It
through
really,
this,
really
or-
has to work.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Right,
teachers are going to try it once, it doesn't work. They'll try it a second time, it doesn't work,
And that's
and they'll
it.
just never use it again.
And right now for some people, the Apple TV situation has been tricky, and so there are teachers who've kind of lost a little faith in it when we were so excited about it. And I think it's just because it's the configuration and it's we need to figure that out because other places are using Apple TV, so we just have to we have to just figure it out. And this gives us a little time to do that, so that, you know, it'll work the way it needs to work. We can use it as a tool. Okay?
Thank you.
That's exciting.
Yes, I think it is exciting.
Good. Okay, we have financial report. Regular financial report. How are things going? Still on a freeze?
We're still
operating.
A real one.
Yeah, it's a
real
real
one.
Margaret, is it a real one?
It's a real one. This report looks like that, you know, that special ed's okay, and special ed actually is okay, but we are going to have to move some of our special ed costs over to circuit breaker in order to balance the budget at the end of the year. So we're not going to do it until June. Some years you do it and then we have money and then you got to move it all back. It's just cumbersome.
You gotta wait till
The town is moving to a new child accounts effective Tuesday. So this report will be very different. Our budget for next
Joe
year.
is so excited about that.
So what are they changing to?
Is that a positive change?
Town
Good
has
change.
used this.
The town has not.
We've used it.
Oh,
The
munis.
town doesn't. Well, the town uses munis, but they only have like 2 accounts: salaries and operations. And they wanted to move to a chart of accounts similar to ours. But when they did it, they decided they were going to make us in compliance with the state reports. I have to make a crosswalk when I do the end of the year report. It's not that hard here because it's only 500 accounts. So once you make it, the first year I was here, I made it, and it's not that hard. But they've decided to move to the exact match of the state report. So that piece for me will be easier. But our current account code is going to go to 14 digits. So it's going to be more cumbersome for my staff. It's going to be more cumbersome for people. And they're going to have to learn it. It's going to be very, very different from what these accounts are here. So we have to try to take the approved budget, that was approved in these
In this
accounts,
format.
and take it and move it into a new structure. So I'm working on that now. But we are going to roll all weekend, and we'll have our new reports effective Tuesday. Hopefully everything
Sounds like a
Rolls
lot.
nicely.
Hopefully everything rolls and comes forward like it's supposed to.
Yeah, we had a question about why we would wait till the new fiscal year to do this, but that was
The
the
town's
town's decision. Okay.
So Tuesday.
Tuesday. So the final report will be very different. It will be hard to compare the two.
So what will the learning curve be for you in this town? Like,
Well, we'll just have to learn 545 new account numbers. But once you learn the structure, well, I didn't know your account numbers when I came, and over time you just, you get so familiar with them.
yeah.
Principals will have to give them new and
So it's got a huge.
No,
Just a different number.
The biggest worry is the roll. The biggest worry is making sure that all our expenses come over, all our
We
encumbrances
expect
come
them to.
over.
You're like Y2K.
We've had 3 trials, and there's been little glitches in every single one, so we just have to be, I'm lucky I have Julie, who's really on top of
Yeah.
everything, and she has made sure that if there's been any issues, that we've brought to some So, obviously,
Change is good.
well, this is something that we wanted, but we weren't included in the design, so that was kind of frustrating because we wish the designs were a little bit different. So this currently shows we have a balance of 54,000. I ran it this morning. It's now at 46,000. But that's deceiving because that includes long-term subs. We don't cover that, and student activities, which we haven't processed the payroll. That's 56,000. So we will definitely be moving expenses to circuit breaker.
Yeah.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Sure.
And again, the big differences are the ones that obviously stick out.
Can you tell us what page you're looking at?
On page 4, maintenance buildings contract services is
We. So there's a couple of things. That encumbrance of 40,000 is including the elevator or the lift repair. We were going to do a replacement.
okay.
We're not going to do it. We were only going to do it if we had money.
Right.
So that was, I think, 25 to
That's the number I
27,000.
remember,
So
yeah.
that's part of that. The other piece of why we spent
first of all, we cut Mike's budget by $25,000. So right off the bat, we were in the hole. We had to pick up about $20,000 for the roof.
Oh, that's
They went
right.
over budget. So that 51,000, negative 51,000 is deceiving because it should be less than by 27.
Right, okay.
Can you, just while we're on that topic, can you tell me what is going on with the lift at the high school?
We're sitting until July 1st unless we have.
Right,
we're gonna
because,
we're gonna have to replace it.
right,
There's no
have to
question.
replace it.
No question.
And the cost to replace it?
25 to 27, I can't.
Okay, because once you replace it, it's gonna be all,
The
up
problem
to
was it's
code and
so
all
old, it's hard to get parts.
Parts,
They have
right.
to manufacture the parts for it and it's so expensive.
Yeah.
You know, that
It's
everyone has
crazy.
told Mike, you're crazy. You're wasting your money trying to retrofit parts for it.
Yeah,
Trying to band-aid it.
so July 1st, we're gonna hold on.
New fiscal year.
Unless we were lucky enough to have some windfall, but it's so promising at this
Would
point.
it be done by the fall though?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
School committee legal services?
Oh,
Just a little further down.
well,
By 20.
we had to pay the deductibles on the lawsuits. $15,000. There's still an encumbrance of $9,700. I think that's Naomi's, and I think we're probably not using it.
Well, I don't know, till the end of the year.
Yeah, but $9,700 seems like a lot to have
It
encumbered.
does.
So we'll go
For
through
a month
that.
and a half or whatever.
Right after we roll with this new budget, we'll go through. Julie will go through and call everybody and ask them, you know, where does your encumbrance stand? Are you going to use this PO? Typically, we encumber Naomi for a certain amount and we end up liquidating it.
Right.
But that year-to-date expended includes $15,000 of those deductibles.
So,
It was 2 deductibles we paid. The $7,500.
There were 3 altogether.
We paid 2.
but we, so there's no chance of, that's our money, and we have to pay for it. I mean, so there's no, like the town,
We've
in
never.
the past, we haven't
Julie
done it. So
said
that's what I'm
she's been here a
saying.
long time. We've never paid.
Right,
I
so
mean,
why all of a
10
sudden
years.
now are we? I mean,
know.
is there an opportunity for us to
I think we need to talk about
speak
this, yeah, with the
to
town.
the powers that be?
Because we don't carry the insurance.
Right,
And, you know,
and if it's never been done before, then why all of a sudden?
Why are we doing
They didn't
that
have the
now?
money.
Yeah, the town.
They didn't
But
have
we
the
didn't
money.
need, I mean.
Well, we don't either, but the perception was we did. And so I guess what we've been talking about is we just want it to be fair for everybody, right? So if every department that has a legal bill gets assessed $7,500, then maybe if we feel differently about it. But if the fire department gets sued, does the fire department have to take it out of their budget, or anyone else for that matter? So again, I think it's just, it caught us by surprise.
At a difficult
and
time.
it's in a difficult time. And
So we
now
can
see we're gonna-
continue though to look at, to figure out what we can do about
I
that.
think we should
The
talk to the
conversation.
town about it. I do think we should,
I
I think we should bring it
agree.
up.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
And then my last one was the athletics. Page 28. And a lot of it, if not most of it, is turf field and lights. 12, 5, another 3.
Oh, so the encumbrance of $9,800, is that what you're looking at that line?
Yeah.
We had to encumber the PO in order to pay for the parking lot. You can talk about what we did in the.
Is that the drainage?
The
thing?
drainage,
Okay.
yes. So we
Oh, the
encumbered,
drainage.
we split the cost with Gale.
And we split it 3 ways.
Okay, so, but we encumbered the entire thing and they're reimbursing us. The
Okay.
contractor didn't want to have a contract with us, Gale.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, or they were paying, the
Yeah.
contractor was paying for it. So,
That's right, the contract.
that's encumbered right now, and then we'll send a bill to Gale. and
Okay,
that will
so that'll
offset
fall out. Okay. And then the lights.
No, I'm
Have we-
sorry.
Have we, I know we've talked about adjusting, and I know there's not a lot of turf field revenue at the moment, but adjusting those rates and for renting the field and then using lights, has that happened yet?
No, you'll have to come through governance for that. There's a few things. We're gonna be looking to change some food service policies. One of you, yes.
Who's on
Should we opt
governance
out of that committee? then?
Sounds like you guys are gonna be pretty busy.
Think
And
you
then-
listened before we changed.
Yeah, there's also, and talking about facility rentals, and also collection policies, because I've been sending out some collection letters there's no policy to back me up on what I've been saying in the letter, so I think that is a policy that needs to be developed in the school committee, so we'll
Yeah,
work
that
on-
should be like
And
the next
consistency too.
thing.
Right,
That was part of the
right,
problem, yeah.
right. So between Mike and I, and Heather and I will be coming forward in the fall with
Right.
changes to policy.
And then we also want to look at the technology policies in the fall too.
When are we going to actively start renting out the field?
Now,
Well, we're renting it out now, but it's very small number of dates that we have available. But once Pembroke fields are on, the field will
then
really
we'll
be.
open up, yeah.
And will you be sort of advertising or marketing that it's available and?
Yeah, we'll have to do. I don't know how other districts do it, but we'll have to figure out something because the fact that we have the lights is the big draw.
we have a little group that we meet with the GAA and, we continue to, because they're all in support, that they want us to be able to rent the field. Just everybody's sort of stuck right now because there aren't the availability of fields other parts of our district are in the field.
Right.
So once those come online, everybody agrees, like at least in the summer, enough baseball fields for Babe Ruth, and they're all pony league size, so they're.
You're not doing the practices on the turf field.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Well,
Yeah, we've had inquiries and we rented, to a couple of groups, but again, we don't have the availability that we
I
wanted.
know it's the summer. It's being rented to a field hockey. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
In Boxford, I think.
I don't know.
Something like that. But it
There's
is.
There's
So
definitely
it
a
is-
need. There are people
yeah.
looking. But we have a commitment to the GAA right now because they really don't have enough funding. But once they do, I think we have had this conversation, we're all in agreement that the practices can take place, or even some of the games can take place, on the fields at Pembroke, because one of those new fields is going to be the same size as the JV field. So,
Is that spring? When do they come online? Is that
okay, so
Was it next fall?
2017.
I think it's next fall.
okay?
So it's 3 growing seasons, right? So when did it get planted? It got planted
It's
this
2017.
Okay.
Oh, so we
Yeah.
would have, we would have next summer
Yeah.
Okay.
available to rent.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm thinking.
Okay.
2017 sticks in my head. Which seems so far away, but
it
now
did,
it's really
here.
not.
But it did get planted late. Remember, we had the, it get planted until this basically early spring.
Yeah.
And it's new field.
Right.
So it should work out well for us in the future, but right now we're in an interesting spot.
Okay. Thank you.
This is a noisy room.
I know. Oh, you're talking about the traffic.
Traffic. Yeah, not you.
Okay, so. Can we do subcommittee reports now? Okay.
Did we approve, did you approve the?
There was
We don't have
nothing
to
to
approve, it's just
approve.
for information.
Yeah. Subcommittee reports, budget and finance,
We have not.
governance,
We meet tomorrow.
Which, does that mean Michael
Oh.
and family tomorrow?
Do we finish
oh,
up?
yeah, that's
Which you said,
interesting.
Chris, motion next week.
I said the 26th, yeah.
It would probably make sense to finish
To
out
finish
here
out.
with the things.
So you're gonna continue to sign the payroll warrants? That was the question that was
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're meeting tomorrow.
Unless you negotiate with Cheryl, Lester, maybe she'll help you out.
No.
So, we have a meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
We haven't met in a while.
It's,
Yeah.
it's been a while.
Okay, negotiations, nothing, right? Public relations, you guys met?
We have not met. We actually need to. I think I've been delinquent on scheduling. So I'm getting nodded at and dirty looked at. I need to schedule. I need to figure out that.
Okay. Safety met this morning. We had an update. Guy and Hope are working on the crisis manual. They're about halfway through. They're hoping to have it done by July, so we can talk about that during our summer meeting. Sounds like it's a lot of work because it's outdated, and so they're meeting quite often on that. We talked about the Alice needs for each room at Pembroke, $8,000 to $10,000, which I was surprised at that amount. I don't know why. I was thinking more. I didn't think it would be that much.
It might be less.
In total?
It might
Just for
each
that
school.
school,
Okay.
you know,
It might
for
be
each
less
classroom.
because what we discovered today from talking to Mike is apparently the kind of glass that is in the windows on the second and third floor are not, they're hurricane glass, so they're not breakable. So you can't
Can't
get
go
out
out.
the windows.
So no
So
ladders.
we
the
don't
ladders,
need the ladders. Yeah, we didn't know that, so
Yeah.
good to know, right? So,
Yeah, I was thinking
yeah, so,
ladders.
and
That
those
could
were,
cost
those were
8 to 10
a
quick.
good chunk of the,
Yes.
a good chunk of the money. So,
But I know that some of the windows they open,
up.
so I would want to double check
Yeah, we'll
because
double
there's like a hook that keeps them from opening, but you can take the hooks out.
so we'll talk to Mike, 'cause,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
because he wasn't thinking that they did, but we can find, I asked him to talk to the architect,
Yeah, so
actually.
you might not be able to break the window, but you can lift
You
it.
can lift it.
Which is probably better than.
Great,
Are all
yes,
the
I would
doors
think.
locked from the inside as well? Do they have the capability of locking the doors from the inside?
Yes,
Once you're in the
yes,
classroom?
yes,
So,
they do.
okay,
They
so
have the
that's another
magnets.
safety feat, right?
Another thing that was a little costly was,
The thing that goes
the
across the door
the
arms.
I think they call it a sleeve.
Yeah, the sleeve,
Yes,
yes.
right, to
Yeah.
prevent the doors from opening.
Yeah,
Those
but
were
we
like
did,
$65.
we did get the
Per.
intercom system so that everybody from their phone, that did get hooked up.
In
As
both
is,
schools.
as is the 911 capability from the latest conversation was whether or not it would show up at the actual room number. So
when they call
it'll
911.
yeah, they call 911, but it might not say room 382, you know,
It
so.
just says the name of the school, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in order to get it to go to each room, we'd have to talk to Verizon and they charge $2,500 to get it done, and then you can map it to the rooms.
But, I mean, I think that's one of those things we should put that on the list, because
Yes.
that would be,
Yeah, that's-
that
I would
make-
think that would
make
be,
sense.
yeah, very helpful.
So we're gonna make a list of all.
$2,500 total
Per school.
per school.
Okay, so,
For each classroom.
I mean, that's a safety
Yeah.
issue in my
It is.
Opinion.
I mean, if there was something going on, yeah, the police should know where exactly
Exactly.
that call is coming from.
So the high school, middle high school is in the process then of gathering their supplies too for that, so. Margaret also told us about the one-way, it's working out good. If you go into Pembroke, it's for the buses. And that it is clearly marked when I left, because I know that Officer Hatch said, oh, you can totally tell as soon as you pull up, so I
Yes.
conscientiously took a look at it, so that's good. What else did we talk about?
Forum.
Oh, we talked about the,
Oh,
yeah,
the
we did
community
talk
forum.
a lot about the community forum, which I don't know if you're gonna chat about it at all tonight, but that's,
Well, why don't we talk about it now?
Yes.
Since why don't we talk about it now? I wasn't able to attend, but I was updated by the committee and by the superintendent, and it seemed that it was a great way of working through the difficulties that we had the week before. So I commend you for being so on top of it, and reaching out to the religious leaders that came, which was great.
they were excellent to work with.
That they came, and then the police department, the board of selectmen, and all of you guys were there in support.
Yeah, there's a lot of support.
Yeah.
It's
So
really
why don't we
great.
talk about that? How you felt about it? Anyway.
I thought it went well. No, I thought it went well. I think it gave people an opportunity to speak when they might not have felt that they had an opportunity to speak beforehand. I think it raised a lot of issues of treatment of students by peers, which I guess on the one hand isn't surprising. On the other hand, it's unfortunate. It's kind of sad that some things are said or some things are done. And I don't think it's unique to Georgetown. That's excuse it. I think it was I think it offered a good reminder that there's still stuff that needs to be done, and awareness and learning. I think at the end of the day, obviously later in high school they're older. A lot of the kids, a lot of the students, the kids, they're young, and it's not. For me, the opportunity is not about punishment. It's about learning what you did something and it was wrong, and here's why it was wrong. More so than the meting out punishment for what was done. Punishment is appropriate. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's an opportunity to learn about. You know what? That was wrong, and it's more than that. You got suspended for a day because of it. Here's why you shouldn't do it.
It's sort of educating on apathy, empathy, and respect. And I think that's what is missing in some cases. It's just having that understanding and that background knowledge to attach.
Right.
Well, I was concerned when I heard some of the comments from parents and students, and again, we just don't know how accurate some of the things that they said. There were some things that were, just to me, very troubling about things students are doing to each other and finger pointing a little bit, and I just wanted, it's obviously comes from the emotion of the moment, emotion of the situation, but if certain things have been brought up and not addressed, that's just a concern to me, but I don't know if that's 100% accurate. So.
I mean, I was very moved by what a lot of people said, and I thought it took a lot of courage for many of the people in the audience to share what they did, and I thought it was really important for them to be heard. I was extremely impressed with our faculty who spoke up, and shared a little bit about how they talk these issues of diversity and inclusion and welcoming people into the community, and connecting that to current events and curriculum and what they're learning. I was very impressed with the students. I mean, the students who spoke up, their moral leadership skills and their poise and their desire to make things better, and they're talking about a lot of other students around who really want to find a way to, if whatever is happening, just greater inclusion, greater acceptance of everybody. I think it's always hard to want to bring into your life people who are really different, who you perceive to be different from you, even though we all have so much in common that, especially some people don't think about. But I thought it was a really powerful place to start. I mean, for me, I was very glad that we had it. Thank you so much for helping for putting it together, for bringing everybody together that you did. Hearing the rabbis was very, very powerful and memorable, and talking about the Holocaust remembrance that happened to have been held on Holocaust Remembrance Day. And then Carol, you went to the synagogue the day after
very,
for
very
the Holocaust remembrance, and that was, and you spoke with the rabbi, and so I think there's some, we can think about how can we help. And you mentioned that there was an idea of getting rabbi to come in and speak with, especially middle school students.
I think Peter already has that scheduled.
I think it's tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to have the rabbi from Newburyport is going to come and work with the students. He did something very, very similar when Newburyport had something happen just like this last year.
Yes,
and he went into the school and did a program with the kids. So he's gonna do that same, basically that same program. And the rabbi from Haverhill said to me he's very interested in any, like we do when we study the Holocaust in history classes, he'd be happy to be a guest speaker. He'd be happy. We've reached out to the Anti-Defamation League, and in fact Peter has talked again with this woman Penny Hurwitz. She was actually there that night, to look at some curriculum that they have that is for peer mentors, but also some training for staff and probably some speakers.
Speakers,
I was
yeah.
speaking today to the safety committee about, I've been really thinking about sometimes these things so that you don't make it about an event. You have to look at something structural.
The cultural context
It's
that it all came up in that really
and
was
something
changed
structural.
at a deep level.
So I did speak to Pam about this because Pam has done a yeoman's work trying to get the Georgetown Cares Coalition to kind of take root and be a great community resource, particularly in the area of substance abuse and those things, which is still something that needs to happen. But I'm thinking about maybe we could look at Georgetown Cares and actually try to work with people in town to create like more of a coalition that could also take on this issue of the whole culture and inclusion and acceptance in town.
Because it has to do with building assets in the
Building
lives
assets,
of young
supporting
people, so
assets,
they don't
right.
feel isolated, they don't feel marginalized, they feel comfortable with each other.
But as you
And
mentioned this
comfortable
morning
knowing
at the
they're
safety
supported.
meeting, it needs to be a community effort
think it
and not
is,
just
yes.
the schools. And I think
Yes.
that would send a great message that we all work together to say that this, this isn't the way we want our community to be.
Peter and I have been talking about in his school creating kind of like like a culture committee that's kind of a cross section of students, not necessarily the students who are always on the student council, right? Although you guys are awesome and wonderful. There are kids in the school maybe whose voice isn't heard quite as much. They're not necessarily going to come forward. So a mix, because I think when Mr. Lucia spoke to the lunches that day, right? There were actually kids that when he said, we want to make sure we are in a culture where, whether it's a swastika or any other symbol, that we wouldn't even think of doing that because it's not how we want to be together. We have this respect, and within our community. And there were kids who actually clapped, So I think there's a definite interest. And I know there are student groups like Maggie participates in and Shay, who spend a lot of time really trying to create that culture for their peers. But it has to come from everyone, right? It can't be a group of students. I think that was Shay's point when she spoke.
And Alexis.
And Alexis is, we believe so much in this,
And
but
Zach Marino.
we have really got to make sure that we can get to everyone, that everybody is completely invested, in this
Well,
as
and
well.
that it's a continuous thing.
Yes,
Like,
it's not.
to me, it's unfortunate that something like this happens, that's when we take notice of it. And
Right.
you know as well as I do that when something happens, it's big, and then it tends to, after a week or two, you go about your business, it dissipates. And this needs to be, an everyday
It's an
thing.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to let the conversation
And I don't want the
just
kids
go.
to feel like that we're, because even my own children have said like, okay, well why, because this happened is it such a big deal. It's always a big deal. So I just don't want them to feel like we're going to go back to the way it was before.
I
We
have
need
to
to
say-
continue with the education of it.
I mean, the forum was a really unique event, and it just raised awareness in a way I've never seen before. I've never seen people come together and really talk openly and honestly and share the concern and help us everybody understand the scope of the issue. And, well, I think that it said a lot to me about how important it is that we carry forth efforts to do better at every level of the community, within the schools, within our homes.
And how was the
all levels.
participation at the forum?
I think that's sort of where I agree with what Pam is saying, and I think for the people in the room it was great. 95% of the school family population was not there. I don't know the percent. A very significant percentage of the school was not there, and so I think it was meaningful and powerful in some ways for the people who were there. And I'm certainly not calling out the people who didn't attend, but I think it's to some degree it was preaching to the choir. It's getting everyone on board. I think is
I would agree with that.
Putting there,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that just comes to my mind is the work that's already being done at Pembroke, more or less, with the idea of responsive classroom. And when some event occurs, whether it's within the classroom, grade level, you know, you sit down as a class, you talk about it, you share feelings, and, you know, you use this as a great teachable moment, intimate with your class. But also their school gatherings that touch upon empathy, respect, and all these character traits that, you know, we're talking about. I feel like the groundwork has been laid, right?
And we can't just let it lie. We have to,
Right.
you know,
And the advisory program was a step forward. That's why we began the advisory program. In fact, on Tuesday or Wednesday, I went over because they had their advisory period and they had watched a video and their individual advisors, and then they were having this discussion. And, you know, as I walked around, kids were very actively engaged in the discussion, which was great to see. And that's one of the things I think the administration felt frustrated about, and I certainly understood how they felt, because it wasn't really the time to sort of stand up and say, but here's what we did, and here, you know what I mean? It wasn't set up to be a debate, and it wouldn't have been productive to be a debate. That wasn't the focus of it. However, one of the things that I have been speaking to them about is that, you know, the good thing is there were questions that were raised, and so now it's an opportunity to give people information. So, like, for example, you know, the schools don't teach about this, and therefore there's no cultural sensitivity to it. Well, but we need to just respond by saying, no, in the 7th grade we do this, in the 8th grade we do this, because just like when we've had, this has been a good, forums have been a good structure in our town. Right, because I mean, if you think about how many, when the Pembroke soil was a problem, the bus transportation, you know, when, you know, this isn't a forum like that for the start school later, but it's the idea of, hey, here's something that we should talk about. Let's bring people together, let's give them a structure with which to do it, and let's figure out what good can come out of it. So that's why this forum, I think, even though it's a little different emotional trigger, you know, the town does do pretty well with those kind of opportunities.
Right.
But it's not a debate, and so now
and
it
there
is
are
an
privacy
opportunity.
issues that we just, you know, that cannot be. You know, but
Exactly.
I thought it was just very important for people to
Yes.
get their
It is.
feelings
And
out.
perception
and
is
share it.
reality
Yes.
to people. I mean, who are we to say that's not legitimate, right?
Right.
But there are opportunities to, you know, give some information, which I think would make everybody feel a little bit better. So that's something we're talking about. Like, what's the best vehicle to do that without perpetuating this? And how do we take it from this incident, which is a symptom, right, of something, and just continue to do our work with social emotional learning that we do throughout the district, right? Through our clubs and activities, through our classes, through responsive classrooms, through PBIS, through all of these sort of, through our various programs that we run for students that struggle socially, emotionally. Lunch bunches, there's a lot of interventions that get done, but that wasn't the time to talk about them. But if we don't tell people about them, and we don't communicate effectively enough in whatever way is the right way to do it, then how would people know?
I think for me, the sort of the most interesting comment of the night was Nora Cannon, who got up and said, you know, I'm an art teacher, how can I be involved, or how do I have a role? And she was talking about, I'm going to say 20 years ago, I don't remember how long she's been teaching. She said, you know, when holidays came up from our perspective, we talked about Christmas, we talked about Hanukkah, we talked about Rosh Hashanah, we talked about Eid and all the various holidays as they came, and the nature of education today doesn't support that. And so I think it struck me as, you know, we're saying teachers must, you know, to some degree this should fall on the teachers. They're with the students all day, they have the best opportunity, but I think at the very same time we're saying, well, you can't talk about these things.
It's like taboo almost.
Yes,
Right.
and it's so it's. I think part of it is understanding what we can and can't do, and almost re-examining what we as a district can and can't do, and decide what we don't want to do. yeah, her comments just stuck with me as a,
It's true.
we used to talk about all these things and now we don't anymore.
Very good observation.
Yeah, because if students don't have an appreciation or don't know, in fact, some of us are taking, like, we need to do this, but we're taking a ELL class, and that's what we call it, SEI, an administrator's course. And what we were just reading about this last time was the importance of recognizing the identities of students, you know, who aren't, you know, white Anglo-Saxon, you know, or who maybe are white Anglo-Saxon but come from diverse backgrounds. I mean, how do you really make sure that you appreciate that and not just treat them as they're different? Because different isn't necessarily a bad thing. In fact, difference is one of the things that makes us special, right? So, you know, like Pam said, it raised awareness, you know, that there's continued work to be done, but it also reminded us that the work we're doing is important to keep and be vigilant and to communicate about. Because I think there are a lot of people who are very satisfied with the way things are handled in school, but certainly, you know, we heard that it's not 100%, and so, you know, we just have to going. But I think it was a good thing to do, and I cannot say enough about the religious leaders. I mean, I spent much of the day with them that day, but on the phone I had spoken with every one of them individually. And they were really remarkable people to talk with, and to look at this right away said, this is an educational opportunity. And that, like you said, the rabbis were I thought their comments, they were actually featured speakers, because, you know, this obviously involved, you know, anti-Semitic situation. But people who have the benefit of working with those two individuals, those two rabbis, are very, very lucky people, because they really got it. Yeah. They really did. And as I said, I went to that session, that service on Friday night, and they involved children in really interesting ways, and you know, they had readings from writings that were available at the time of the Holocaust from children, and that was, you know, extremely powerful. And the choir was wonderful, sang beautiful songs. So it was just very somber, but you know, important to take the time. I was very glad I went. And there were a couple of families from Georgetown that, you know, I chatted with. Nora was one of them. Nora was there, and so it was really nice to touch base with them. I was really grateful for the rabbi to extend the offer, because you know, he said anybody could come, and he meant it. He was very nice to work with. So we have a lot of great resources in this community. In Grove, Michael gave us the name of someone in Groveland who was phenomenal. So I mean, really, this area is a lot of people that, you know, we should definitely tap into if we need something in the future.
Was the forum recorded?
It wasn't, and we did it on purpose.
Oh,
they were very interested in recording it, and you know, I actually had my own opinion on it, which is people aren't going to stand up and be talking about private thoughts necessarily if they know it's going to be televised for the whole community to see. And so I ran that by the group, the religious leaders, and you know, the principals and the internal people, and they all said, you know, we agree with that. We don't think that it should be taped. If people came, it was really, you know, an opportunity for them. If we were going to do something where we're having people stand up and, like, let's say the rabbi was going to do a lecture or something like that, that would be good for the community here, maybe we might have considered that. But the fact that a good chunk of the time was designated for people to be able to share personal feelings, we just felt like it was, you know, a little voyeuristic. You know, we just didn't think it would have interfered, we thought, with the spirit of what we were trying to be into. So it wasn't taped.
Well, thank you for putting it together, and thank all of you guys for
yes, your support was very, very much appreciated. Thank you.
Okay. Back to the subcommittee reports. Starts school later. I do want to say that we are having our first community forum on Monday, May 23rd at the middle high school auditorium. We would like as many parents to attend, families that, teachers that, students.
7 p.m.?
7 p.m., yep. And we do just want to put it out there because, you know, it's all surrounding the middle high school, but it is going to be an impact to the elementary families too. So any questions that they have, I think that's the best opportunity to get the answers. So I'd love for all of you guys to come if you can. Maggie, I just want to get your take on it as a student. I know you're leaving, but what are your thoughts on, we talked about it before.
Yeah.
So any change or any, I know you're a morning person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, lately
Your mom
I'm
told me
not,
that.
but
But you had said before that, you know, some of your friends definitely are
Yeah.
tired in the morning.
yeah.
Yeah, so you still think that for some it would definitely benefit and others just,
Yeah. But the
It's-
only issue would be sports.
Yeah.
It's just a athlete, so it's-
yeah.
It just would like affect everything, and then our all our games, we'd end up getting home later, so our homework would be going later, and we'd still be getting sick of sleep. That's what my opinion is.
Yeah. Yeah, athletics is a big thing.
So one of the things
so-
they're gonna do is they're gonna survey, so maybe if your clubs can really,
Yeah.
you know, encourage the students to take the survey.
Yeah.
You know, because obviously the
That'd be great.
student's voice would be really important.
Yes, yeah. So hopefully we're gonna start working on that. We have a meeting on the 16th, so before our forum, we do have a committee meeting that we're gonna talk about survey questions that will go out to the staff, to families and to the kids. Suzanne and I met with the Pembroke staff yesterday, since we already had met with the middle high school staff a couple of weeks ago. And it was great to listen to the questions and concerns that they had, because really without hearing from them, we don't really know what each individual person, you know, thinks about it or is concerned with. And, you know, we talked about the band. There are things that we didn't even, obstacles that we didn't even think of.
Or the
So-
after-school program, whether or not we have the capacity to take additional students
Right.
if the elementary kids get out earlier. So it's been great, I think, to have these conversations.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good getting the conversation going.
Well, one of the things too, and I know you just said it, but I don't necessarily think that some of the elementary families understand that it may very well impact them as
Right.
well.
Yeah, some of the teachers definitely were concerned about that yesterday. They had said that we need to make sure that they're aware of it, that because of our bus transportation issue, you know, we can't change one without doing something with the other. So yeah, we definitely want to get that word out, and I know you have a connection to the school through parents, and you can maybe start getting that word out. But it would be great if on the 23rd people could come out in conjunction with the PTA, which I appreciate them giving us the opportunity. It's their last general membership meeting of the year, so it was nice of them to welcome us. And Dr. Medwood will also be in attendance. He'll be able to answer any medical questions that people have. So we'd like to welcome anybody that would like to come. The superintendent's evaluation committee.
I think people are setting up meetings with me,
Right.
yeah, individual meetings.
Oh, individual, yeah. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Baker Adams. So we have a date, which is great, because last meeting we were all like, I can't do that, I can't do that. I'm saying, oh boy, how are we gonna do this? So it's the 31st? Yeah, so May 31st, we'll do that.
It's at 7, correct?
6 to 9.
Oh, 6 to 9, sorry.
That seems late to me, is it? But 5:31, or is that, in the past, have we, oh my God, the graduation day is 6:04.
No
So
pressure.
it is late, it is later than you usually do, but usually you do get your final
Yeah.
numbers. It's really just a matter of getting the letters together at that point, because you hand them out at graduation,
Yeah.
so.
So how are they coming in?
We have, I looked earlier, we have 9 complete, 23 partials.
So when you're,
So,
so people working on them?
yes, so it actually, initially the thought was that once you started, you had
Yeah.
to finish, but it was actually set up, we made a couple of changes, it's now set up so that you can go back in and do it kind of piecemeal.
Yeah.
It's still easier
because
if you do it all together. but-
Yeah, it is, but I think for kids it is
Well, and you have to write a couple essays,
There are a
right? So
couple.
you have to think that through.
So 9 complete,
Megan,
23
did you
partial.
hear anything from the kids about like having it be online? They're trying to get into the 21st century here.
I personally like it a lot better.
Oh, good.
It's
Oh,
just
good.
easier to access, and you don't have to worry about the paperwork or anything. You can access it like at any time.
So when will we be able to start doing our homework? Is
Yeah,
it-
remember we talked about that,
The
about,
deadline is Monday at 4. So essentially, they can be emailed out at Monday at 4:15. Maybe.
Might want to
yeah.
I mean,
Tuesday.
If
I mean, yeah.
everything
Well,
goes
I guess
smoothly.
if everything goes smoothly,
Yeah.
they can be emailed out quickly. If you want a printed copy, it would take a little more time.
Okay, so Monday is
16?
the 16th. Okay, so the deadline is
Monday at 4.
Monday at 4. So then we'll have a good amount of time
Yeah.
to actually
Yeah.
review
Yeah.
them for the 31st. So that's good.
You can review them
Can
right
we
online, right?
ask Laura
Can
to
we
print
run
them
online?
out?
No, we can just, or we can view them online, right?
Well, depending on your
but
style.
Yeah, I
personally
prefer-
prefer
yeah, I do
to
too.
read
Yeah.
things
And I can
printed
print it out.
out.
I'm in no hurry, like for Monday at 4, the deadline.
Oh yeah, no, I get
You
yeah.
know, but that's good. That gives us enough time. But that 31st, just keep in mind that 6 to 9 meeting times. It will have. That's
big work
really the
session.
only
We have to
time.
make a decision then.
So how many students are awarded?
Well, that depends.
And
It
we
depends.
also, right.
Do we have
Do we
a
know how
dollar
much-
amount?
20.
20. One
So
year it was
in,
like.
in the past, we had like a
7
little,
or something.
Michael, a little rating sheet. Remember Alana had that? Are we gonna have something
We
like
will,
that? Okay.
yes.
Rubric we had
Yeah.
last
And
year,
then we
something
can
to follow.
And
Automate the calculation
Excel.
part.
the calculation part,
Yeah.
right? So you,
Yeah.
when you put your numbers in, yeah, that's how you're gonna get your,
Sort of
Yeah.
the total
the
group.
straw poll.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that.
But we have a pool of $20,000, and then it's up to us as to how many do you want to give out? Do you want to give out 5? Usually we've been doing 10,
10.
and
Usually give
and then
out
different
couple.
dollar
Yeah.
dollar amounts. But it's really that's something that we'll all talk about and see. But it's fun to spend someone else's money. So that's
It's
good. I'm
very
excited
inspiring.
for that.
It's very inspiring to read what
Yes,
the
it
students
is.
have written. They're such remarkable people. It's just really.
Yes.
School building committee.
Oh, yes, okay. So we met on May 10th, this is this Tuesday, and we, regarding the Pembroke, we discussed the elevator. You know, there are elevator issues, right? At the
right.
Pembroke.
There's been
Elevator
elevator issues
A lot
from
of
the get-go.
elevator issues, yes. Well, the latest is the contractor is going to be coming soon. The state inspector has gone in and has some questions regarding the controls. No malfunctions have been noticed by teachers or students recently. So, I mean, it doesn't seem to be a safety issue, but the state
Yeah, but if it's
inspector.
not consistent, like if all of a sudden
Right.
it doesn't work or.
So we will be getting an update on that at the next meeting. The audio system,
Yeah,
I'm sure that's been very aggravating for people.
But it sounds like it's
Yeah.
fixed.
Well,
They fig, no.
well, I don't know about that.
I was talking like today about it. So.
No, no.
Yeah, the contractor visited at 3 o'clock on Tuesday, so I don't really have the update from him, but I do know that the contractor had come before, fixed things, the frequencies were an issue. An outside group came in and changed the settings. Since then, Mike Anderson has locked up the settings so that no one can change them. Then there was a new podium with a new microphone, which again messed up the settings. And unfortunately, it was not working for the kindergarten orientation, which I'm sure.
That must have been difficult.
I used my teacher voice.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Did you have a lot of people for that?
There were.
Good,
It was actually quite well attended.
good.
That's good. And hopefully this audio system will be working again soon.
it's such a
I mean, the
shame.
contractor will just keep
The
at it until
spelling
it does.
bee is
So.
So here's what I learned today. The sound system is wired for an analog, for analog. But the amplifier is digital. So the music rooms have no problem.
Okay.
Basically, what I was told is, the solution is we need an analog receiver.
Okay, well, so how easy is that?
Well, it's in the hands of the contractor now, so now, of course, people are arguing about who's responsible. If that's the solution, who's
Well,
gonna
why
be
would they
responsible?
do an analog if it's digital? Like, why would that have happened in the beginning?
It has to, it goes back to the technology consultants and how they design the system. So that's why there's negotiations and discussions, but, and the podium,
It's too bad.
the issue had to do with the microphone needed to be reconfigured for the system, and so the podium and the microphone solution thing should be rectified. But it really is the difference between the analog and the digital, and why it's wired that way. Why the amplifier is digital as opposed to analog. I don't know that, but once that's resolved, it should work.
Right.
And also the other thing that they said is that the system that was again designed by the technology consultants is too big. In other words,
Like
for the
square
size
footage?
of that space. What was it that Mike said today, that it
Could do Fenway
it
Park.
could do Fenway Park?
It's a cobble system.
So what's happening is there's some
It's certainly
feedback,
not Fenway Park.
but so that's some of that is why there's a little bit of feedback. So,
So did we get, we got something that we did not need,
right.
which I'm sure cost a lot more
More
than
than
what.
what we needed to
Of
pay.
course.
But that's
That's what
that's
gets
why
them
it
more
hasn't,
direct.
it hasn't been an easy fix, right? We keep having these consultants come back but that sounds like
At
that's
least
the
they're
solution.
getting there.
But if this is gonna be prolonged because we're trying to figure out who's responsible for it. Is
Mhm.
that-
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
And then, okay, go ahead, Pam. Are you gonna talk about the noise at the middle high school when you get there?
Absolutely.
That was on your
Yes,
notes, so keep
yeah,
going.
yes. Okay, but first I want to talk about the noise and at the bathrooms in the
At Pembroke?
boys.
The boys in the bathrooms?
Yes,
Is
the
there-
first
The bathroom
and
and boys.
first grade and second grade, so the first floor.
Yeah.
The toilets are unusually noisy to the point where they're
I've
Just-
never heard this before
Well,
in my
it-
life.
disturbing and
About a month ago, I got an email that's all of
scaring
a sudden it's just
children.
extremely loud.
Does Mike do it?
Upgrade the toilet?
Yes.
It's really something unusual. It's not right.
Only
There's
in
something
the first
wrong
floor toilets?
in the
Just
boys'
this one
room.
particular bathroom on the
Yes.
first floor.
That's
So
weird.
the manufacturer has been out twice. Plumbers have inspected.
Have you heard it?
I have not heard
Really?
it. No.
But you've heard it.
I haven't heard it either.
Oh, you haven't heard it either. Like, I'm wondering how bad it is.
Well, Chuck.
Well, we'll ask Mike, because Mike
um,
hasn't told us that.
I haven't heard a word about it.
It's just
You know,
the
Chuck Adams
classrooms
of Municipal
that are
Building.
right there, like right
Consultants.
next to the bathroom. It's the classroom that's right next to the bathroom.
Okay.
So it's not, it's not the student in the bathroom
That's
that's
scared.
No, it's the students in the classroom.
Well, I thought it was
Is
maybe
it
a
in
student in the
class?
bathroom that was scared. There were
The sinks
boys
are-
who did
the
not
sink-
want
the
to
sinks
use the
scare them.
bathroom
Then
because
the dryer scare the kids.
So I got a note here to ask Mike tomorrow about it.
There's dryers.
Bathroom etiquette.
I'll have him go over.
Are they the Excel, like the really
it's
high-
an
higher pressure
unusual sound.
dryers?
So
They're, I'm just telling you, I bought towels for my bathroom because it's like,
Oh, I hate this.
you can't, it's just too loud.
Oh, the hair dryers, everyday hand
The
dryers.
hand dryers are
But
very loud.
Chuck believes that it is a matter
I thought
of
you meant at
replacing
home. I'm like,
the
you have dryers in your home?
It's okay, she doesn't use them.
I'm like, you're living at the Ritz.
The plumbers are going to replace some valves and hopefully that will fix the problem. The curbing behind the backstop, you know,
Yeah.
yes, you've seen the erosion
Yeah.
issue there. I mean, they were talking about this problem being all the way down and quite large. I went around to look at it and I took a number of pictures which I could show you. It seems to me it's right at the backstop where the problem is very, very obvious. I'm not sure it's, or, you know, and we may need to fix the curb. I think that requires more thought and discussion. The presentation of the priority list is now months away, which I was not at all
Yeah, I thought we were
happy to
getting it in
hear.
May.
I've thought May and then June. I'm told the longer we wait, the better it is because we may have more money available. I mean, apparently it's part of the process, and there will come a time that we will present it, but I'm told it's months away.
Okay.
The owner's contingency remains at $8,218, and money from the soil negotiation is still uncertain, and that's the money they're talking about when they say that we may have more money available, so hopefully that will grow. So the middle high school.
Before you go there,
Yes.
I just wanted to say Margaret could speak to this too. So if you remember on the sign down at the bottom of the hill, remember that sign? And so it has been smoothed out, a little bit.
Yes.
So today, one of these days, Mike met the family and the architect or the landscaper that has agreed to do that work. The parents paying for donating the landscaper. And so some of the things that Mike was there. So some of the things that I guess you and Rob had talked about that they're going to pay attention to, put them in, and then they're planting some lilies and some other kinds of flowers that kind of bloom all year, and they're going to mulch it, and they're going to take care of that. And then we're talking.
Oh, that's so nice.
We're talking with Dave from the light department about the possibility of them doing backlighting for us. He mentioned that they sometimes do community projects at the department head meeting, so I came back and I said, Mike, let's tell Dave. He might say no, because I think he's going to check his budget, maybe he won't have enough, but it was fairly short money. So if there's
about $2,500.
yeah, so if there was a possibility, and again, I don't know, we still might need to figure it out ourselves, but if he could do that, then that would be great, and we'd be in a situation where we could have.
The sign really needs to be lit. Like in the beginning when I was talking to Rob, it was good for me to go down there and take a look at it, because at night you really can't see it. So to think that pole outside was going to help, it really did look beautiful. Like when he was showing us the light behind it, how it would look coming on, it really was impressive. And it was great that Mike Anderson tried to do the solar.
Yeah,
it was good.
It just didn't. It
not enough.
Tried, wasn't enough.
Yeah. So that's the.
So you've been in contact with Dave, or you're going to?
Mike has made contact with Dave. He's checking his budget, and he's going to.
I did hear from LA that there was some sentiment amongst abutters and people living on Elm Street that they were worried that the light would be too bright, it would be disturbing. So when Rob showed us that, it was certainly not like what I saw. It didn't seem
like
to
the
be
turf
something
field. The people that complained about the turf field lighting, the neighbors abutting that.
That's different.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what he showed us looked fine in that regard to me, but I just wanted to let you know that there are some people who have that concern.
Yeah, I understand.
So
never been lit before, so that's
right. We want to be cautious and careful and considerate. So back to the middle high school, the committee did approve the uninterruptible power source for district servers, which sounds very important. We don't want the servers to go down in case there's a loss of power, or even a generator. Even if we lost power to flip to a generator, it would still interrupt the servers. So let's see, the consultants also, they came to evaluate and assess the chorus room. They determined that only the high-pitched sounds are getting through to the upper floors, that not the middle or the lower ones, but just a certain type of sound. There were two potential solutions. They're both very costly. One would be building up the floor above. Other would be adding something to the ceiling. Both of these solutions would be well over $50,000.
I didn't hear. I did hear that the consultant who came and did used the noise meter, said that it is higher than it should be, even with the repair that they recommended, which was filling the gaps. But remember, Mike had to put some stuff up in there.
In the ceiling.
Today he said the proposal would be to
do
rip
the floor.
up the carpet or whatever, and then for a more
More
of a
of a thicker
floor.
floor.
Either one, right, it would be a thicker floor.
But for $50,000?
Over.
Yeah, he didn't tell me the
Wow.
cost.
Well, I think it's, I think it's gonna be.
It would come out of the project.
And I think it was gonna be, it was about, who designed it that way, and
Right,
remember he
yeah.
said that Chuck would have to get involved.
Yeah, they're trying to
With
figure that
DRA
out.
or whatever.
I wonder how
Um,
big of a job that is.
I don't know, we'll ask,
We
because
do.
Pam, I mean, so obviously we did
For
Chuck,
that amount of
who
money,
gave
it
you the,
sounds like-
who
I mean,
said the
that-
$50,000 fee?
Chuck.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, Chuck knows how.
I
He's
mean,
an
so that,
architect,
you know,
so
the
he probably
committee
knows what's
discussed
about
it, we
that
didn't
cost.
vote or anything on it, but the general consensus was that, you know, to possibly to move the chorus to the stage when
When
class
tests
above
and-
has tests or assessments.
It's such a tough.
Yeah,
It's a
you know
poor
what,
design,
it's
though.
a,
It should be
it
fixed.
should be fixed.
Yeah.
I mean,
think
it's not just
relocating
a
them
little
for
bit
that,
of a
that's-
bother,
that's
apparently,
difficult.
apparently it's not just a little bit of a bother, and the choral,
What are the classrooms
program
above it?
sings every day.
What are the classrooms?
Sandra Schwarzkopf is up there, and I'm not sure who is next to her.
Mr. Corbett.
Just Corbett. Have you ever had a classroom where?
Not that close.
I mean, have you heard though, the kids saying, oh, we heard the chorus, really, they,
I mean, it's a beautiful sound, but I guess if you're trying to.
It's better than the bathrooms.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Right.
true, good point.
I mean, the owner's contingency is at $96,300.
It is, okay.
So,
Yeah, I don't know what else is on that
you
list
know,
either, so.
yeah. The wall in the gym, I brought up that the paint against the back wall is still peeling.
Yeah, what is going on with that?
The contractor will look at it again and evaluate the situation.
I'm just concerned that there could be, you know, is there something wet back there? that
That's
is-
my big
you know,
concern. I mean,
yeah,
this
the
is not the
moisture,
first time
it's-
this has happened.
I
It keeps
know.
happening. This does not seem like, you know, they talked about, oh, the surface wasn't prepped properly. It's like, I don't know, it
For
looks
that
like
many
it's more than
times,
that.
yeah.
Oh.
So he's gonna look into it.
Yes, yes. We discussed how great the hall looks, you know,
Yeah.
first floor hall, I mean, after.
Can you imagine they were gonna, I mean,
That was-
it could not have been left like that, it just couldn't.
It
Now you
looks
see what it
so
looks like when it's
much
right.
better. I'm really glad we did
Yeah.
that. We had discussion about the underground fuel tanks that are buried next to the school full of diesel oil. There is a DEP rule. The tanks must be closed in place or removed by August 7th, 2017. We looked that up in the meeting. The bank will not allow the funds bonded for this project to cover it. So, we need to discuss with the Board of Selectmen how best to move forward.
And how
with
big of
this.
a monetary,
And how big of a monetary.
did they give us any idea?
No, I mean, you know, closed in place or removed, there are so many different options of what one could do, it's hard to say.
So we should schedule, yeah, I'm sure not cheap, so we should schedule a meeting rather quickly with the Board of Selectmen, right?
I mean, if this
Yeah,
something
When,
has
when
to be
did you
done.
say, August of twenty
August,
seventeen?
yeah. So,
Yeah, so I'll ask Mike to, if he has, any information on what something like that would cost.
and N-Pro has been suggested as a contractor.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah, yeah. The subject of netting over the turf field fence, you know, between, yeah, the field and the stream. And apparently soccer balls go over that fence.
And they're concerned with like the algae and the water and the,
Yeah.
that the kids
How did
picking
they
it up
go?
and then.
How did they do that before? Well, there was always a field there, how did they, has that been a problem in the past?
To the right.
I've never been up there.
Yeah, so when you walk straight and then to the right, there's
Oh,
that
yeah,
little stream.
behind is
So
that
we,
little
like
stream.
Verizon, the building, right? is it?
Yeah, so Maggie, is that a
I
problem?
believe it's the
Because
Pembroke.
there always was a field there, so I'm just trying to figure out, like, is that a new problem?
I don't think so, because my brothers used to play, the balls used to just go
Okay,
over and they used to just
okay.
hop over the fence.
Fascinating.
You get it?
So this was discussed as a potential priority
Oh,
list item.
They were
And
concerned about the water. It sounded like that the water was contaminated.
occasionally contaminated, yeah, yeah.
The baseball field is that same.
And then I just thought I would mention was on the topic of facilities, you know, when I heard the story in Boston, the Boston School District about the water, needing some lead. I was wondering if, because we do have historic buildings, if there was testing results for us, and yes, we have had all 3 buildings tested in September of 2015, and our results are good.
Yeah.
If anyone has
And
any
Lou
questions
came
about
from
that.
the water
Lou
department one
Manuel
night
will be
and
able
talked to us. But
yes.
you literally sent me an email, and by the time I finished reading your email, her email came up. So it was really interesting.
I was just
like,
curious
wow,
about it. Have we
great minds
tested?
think alike.
And
Yes,
I had asked
okay.
Lou at the department head meeting about that, and
Yeah.
he had told me that he was gonna check the records on it. And then he emailed right back and said, this is what's.
Yeah,
So
and they
we're-
check it pretty consistently.
Lou is very
Yes.
vigilant. You know,
Yes.
if there had been a question, I think Lou would have told us about it, because remember, like, even before the school opened.
There were a couple issues
Yeah.
that came from.
Yeah.
Maureen.
Yeah. That's it. Okay, that's good. CPAC?
CPAC, yes. CPAC had a meeting this Wednesday, right?
Yesterday, yeah.
Yes. So where's my?
Did you have it during the day, or was it at night? You know,
It
you
was
flip-flop.
9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Yes. And
How was attendance?
Better than usual, we had 7 parents there, so.
very good. And you know, the purpose of it was to discuss the future of the CPAC going forward and see if there were any interested, you know, committed parents who would like to assume roles of responsibility. And you know, we discussed a little bit of the history of the CPAC going back years and how helpful it's been to a lot of people in our community, and how the schools are, you know, anxious to support the CPAC and do anything we can to help them.
We really emphasize the collaborative nature of the CPAC with,
Yeah.
you know, the special ed director, the school committee, and the parents, and, you know, for the sake of the children. So we had a long conversation about that.
That's
That's good.
But it really needs to be collaborative. It can't
Yeah.
be.
It has
In
to
some,
be.
in some places, it's very adversarial, and we have not
That's
And that
had
never
doesn't,
that.
that really doesn't work well for
It
the
doesn't
students.
work
I mean, it's the students who are, that's our biggest, first
Yeah.
concern, priority, so we wanna do what's best for them.
Exactly.
So I got a little report, so then halfway through, we left, the administration people left, so that the parents could discuss amongst themselves, their thoughts on filling the positions in the future. So I got this little email from Tom Stewart, which is very helpful. It says, the CPAC was a very positive and productive meeting. There's tremendous positive energy out of this group of 7. The CPAC will be meeting in early June. I now have a date, it's June 1st, to vote on bylaw change and conduct an election. The bylaws change most likely will involve setting up a structure having a president-elect, a treasurer, and some type of secretary public relations sort of position. The bylaws change will most likely look to create a transition process after the president steps down, that the individual will then become the past president with the president-elect, and secretary public relations type of position and treasurer. They also want to do more fundraising. And I don't have, I know it's June 1st. I need a time and a place, and once I get that, I will be happy. We will post that information and get that out there so that parents are aware. And so that will
Have
be
you
the meeting.
fundraised in the past?
Yes.
You had one, right? Didn't you?
No, we
Did you?
fundraised
Was it a
many
flower
years. It's always been a flower
And what do
sale,
you
a bulb
do?
sale.
Where does that money go?
It goes into the CPAC account, which that's
To have
for
like speakers or?
it's for speakers. It can also be to fund field trips for students, student
Okay.
I think you
programs,
funded
really
those
whatever
little
the
awards that you gave
the
us.
right the
Shining
Oh,
Shining
the Shining
Star
Star.
Awards.
Is that managed by the school, or is that?
It's managed by the CPAC.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
They decided
Yeah,
to
we
do
don't
that.
run.
That's what I, yeah.
So,
no,
so
we don't.
did Mr. Stewart, I was reading that email and I wasn't sure if he was,
He's interested.
great, that's great.
Yeah, we have
I
a
think he would
number
be
of
great.
parents that are actually interested in taking over as the chair or the president, so
Maybe
it'll
they
be
can all work
interesting to
together.
see, right, how it all falls out. So it'll be nice to have a larger group to
Yeah.
work with,
Well-
and once we find out the time and the location, we did a significant amount of advertising for this
Mm-hmm.
meeting yesterday, between sending letters home, the secretaries for a couple of weeks, sent the letter home through the email process. It was posted on Facebook, it was posted on our school district website, so I think that helped to bring people. Margaret sent it out, it went out from all the schools. So as soon as we have that information, we can do all of that pushing out again and see if we can increase the number of parents who come. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I was interested in this president-elect position because actually Mask has a president-elect. And when I went to the day on the Hill, there was a president-elect, and I didn't really ask anybody, what is president-elect? But it sounds to me like it's kind of a vice president, kind of in training, waiting in the wings, which is really nice, so that whoever is elected to the president position knows that it's not, doesn't have to be forever. It can be for a certain period of time. That there's somebody else, there's going to be a future, a structure, a number of people in place to help the organization move forward. So I think that's a great idea.
That's good.
Very good. That's good.
I hope that all works out.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Pam. Okay, under new business, we do have to increase the middle school student activity account. So I will make a motion to temporarily increase the middle school student activity account maximum from $10,000 to $20,000 for the period of May 31st, 2016 to June 2nd, 2016 for the purpose of processing receipts and payments for students attending Camp Kia.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
That's going to be exciting. Suzanne and I have children going to Camp Kia
Oh.
in May, so that'll be fun. Hope the weather is good. School choice,
Yeah,
Talk
so
about
we
this.
need to talk about school choice.
Numbers, yeah.
Yep, talk about the numbers. As you know, we had lower class sizes at the Pembroke in grades, next year for grades 2 and 4. We chose to, and the town supported funding for the
I
maintenance
love
of
that
the-
19 number though.
of the second, yes, that's of the,
With the continuous.
yeah, of the second grade, and then the same thing would happen in 4th grade, except we didn't get that teacher funded, so that class size would be 23. So the only place that we think that we would entertain school choice at the elementary might be, and I emphasize might be, K. We just, every year we have the registration process, but then we always have people that register as they move in.
Yeah.
So, we do tend to say 110, we wouldn't, but
I would say 100, that would be 20 per class.
Right. Well, I think in the past we have said 110 would be the absolute outside. But I agree with Margaret. I mean, if we have the opportunity to have 20 kids in a class in kindergarten, that's really what we prefer. So, did you get a sense from the
Well, right, I have a little discrepancy. So, right now, don't worry, no worries. Just with the children that are registered, we either have it would either be 15 or 17 per class, just depending on. I don't know yet if some of the children that were registered are the same. We have names from outside pre-K, and I don't know if they've registered yet. So the directors told us those names, but I'm just not sure.
We don't know if they
Just
coincide.
around
Exactly.
Okay.
So if it's 15, it would look good for school choice. If it's 17, I would be leery because we haven't really, at 17 in May, there at least could be 10 or 15 more kids who, they didn't, they wait to the last minute, parents move in.
Yeah, well, pretty much
we
how it goes
Yeah, we
in
know
terms
exactly.
of people coming
Right,
in, so.
exactly. Yeah.
So we were thinking we might not need to wait till August 1st this year. We might have a better sense by July 1st. But I think we need to.
And maybe even sooner, just if I can clear up this right now, to know if it's 15 or 17, that would give us more of an idea. If it were 15, I would be more apt to say, maybe 5, and then it should, it's one child per class. If it's 17, again, I would just rather wait a little bit longer.
Okay, so.
Yeah, I like your numbers though, in terms of not thinking that that's feasible.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, like I said, we could always say, hey, we'll add 1 or 2 more, but then the experience that we've seen in the last couple of years is that there is quite a variation over the course of the year. Up to sometimes as much as 30 to 40 kids, obviously not at any one grade level, but, so we just feel like class size is something that if we have the opportunity to have reasonable class sizes, especially with our level 3 status, we want to give kids the attention that we really feel that they need. So at the middle high school,
No slots. Well, the middle
no
school,
slots
no
at the
slots.
middle school.
Okay.
And then at the high school, again, the 8th grade class, I think right now is not a big class. So Peter seems to feel that we can take in the 9th and 10th grade, and I want to get his take on exactly, does he think 5 and 5
Right, that's
or
what I was just
10
gonna ask.
total?
Right.
I know that we don't like to take students beyond the 10th grade, if we can avoid it. Although we do try to have compassion in the senior year for students. If they move out, if they're going to move out of town. We have been able to do that. We haven't kept their siblings, if you remember, but we have been willing to look at that. It's hard to change in your senior year, especially when you're doing all the college work and getting college recommendations and trying to wrap up. It's just really hard to imagine going to a new school and,
Yeah, how are you gonna build that bond
Yeah,
with the
it's
staff
very
there?
hard. But between 9th and 10th grade, Peter feels, and we built the budget around 10
It
students.
was 10, okay. That's
Yeah, so obviously if we can take more and the numbers work, that will benefit us.
I'm trying to remember, did we fill all the spots last year?
No.
We came in short.
I
Right.
think we had
So
8.
So
Yeah.
that was my concern. I'm like, wow, 10 is what we
Right.
have in the budget. What if we don't achieve that?
Yeah, well, it's a factor. And again, you can look at the kindergarten, so that might actually be, depending on the numbers, it might actually be, as Margaret's saying, 5 additional students. It might be possible.
Mm.
But other than that, I don't think we recommend taking in any other school choice students, especially with our budget scenario. When we reduce teachers, so we don't want to be in a situation. It would only be if the numbers were favorable and it wasn't going to create a long-term hardship.
Okay.
Okay?
So we'll have those numbers.
Yes. So I think,
like you had said even
Yes.
earlier than July, so that's good. Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the opening of 10 seats combined in grades 9 and 10 for the 2016-2017 school year.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, I think we are done with the regular agenda. Tonight there is no reason to have an executive session. So at this point in time, I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 9:07 p.m.
So moved.
Second. Great. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Great, thank you.
oh, I don't vote?
Oh, did you have a question?